Hello, welcome to Musher's Tales. I'm at the I'm in the backyard. Okay, I'm in the backyard. I'm on the woodlots. So little spot I made. That's just a table, but I tipped it up so I don't get the wind on it. Platform to put the table on, or to set up my winter hot tent. And a wood stove. See, there's not much snow. Haven't been doing much since I picked up traps. Had a bit of an adventure, which I'll tell you about, which ended up all right. And just hasn't snowed, so I can't dog sled yet. It's all ice. And that's about it. So I'm gonna start a little fire and I'll tell you the story. So the story. It was a Friday anyways. And like I do every morning, had about, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 dogs loose running around the yard. And after about 10 minutes, I just didn't see 2 dogs. Maybe not even 10 minutes. All of a sudden, 2 dogs that are usually, well, one dog especially, it's usually really close. Where the heck's he? And then saw he and his brother weren't around. Now, these are 6-year-old dogs, 6.5-year-old dogs. You know, I've had them as pups. They grew up at the house. They've never, ever strayed or disappeared. They're always underfoot. One was my lead dog, one's a wheel dog, Chester and Cub. And they're just not there. So, well, they go. And all the other dogs are there, so quickly I chain everybody up. But took a little tour in a truck and went around and didn't really cut any tracks. The weather had been warm, but it was kind of a wet, rainy snow that day. So told my wife what was going on as I went for a little look around. And then dogs still aren't there, and now it's like a half hour later. Now it's holy shit. You know, they took off. So we both leave, take a drive. When you come back, Cub's back. So Cub was gone for about, I'll say 2.5 hours. So he was back in the yard, but his brother's in there. So then it's holy smoke. Pardon the pun with all the smoke. But the, yeah, dog missing. Now this is, you know, it's trapping season. There's cars, there's this, there's that, and it's bad weather in the sense that it's a wet snow. Long story short, dog's lost. Tell my son, who put something on Facebook, which starts getting spread around, and call the pound and call the vet and call a few neighbors and talk to anybody we saw. There's a logging road about 10 kilometers from here. So put a sign up there, use the CB, talk to truckers. Anyways, long story short, next day talked to a couple of guys from Ontario that are working on a mine, and they saw the dog. And they saw him. He was about 3 kilometers, 2.5, 3 kilometers in the woods near a fork. And that fork, if you follow it long enough, you'll end up right where I am now. Of course, there's lots of twists and turns and lots of different forks you have to take, but I mean, they're connected. So they're holy shit. Like, this is 10 kilometers away, 3 kilometers in the woods. Of course, you know, 30 kilometers is nothing for that dog, you know. So, and he's obviously lost. He's going deeper in the woods. So we went as deep as we could go in that road. Never saw anything. And we talked to as many people as we could who never saw anything. And, you know, finally it's several nights later and still no news of the dog. So not much fun. You know, you don't sleep well. You're there. Did he get run over? You know, or is he caught in a trap? Or is he going deeper in the woods? And the woods are in such a way here that if you keep on going deeper, you can go for days. Okay, you can go far. We're talking, I don't know, like 100 kilometers is easily done, and you're just going deeper and deeper in the woods. Okay, there's some big woods if you go east, and that's what he was doing. If you go east or north there, actually, if you go west, if you go anywhere but south, okay, you're getting deeper in the woods. So to Wednesday around 1:30 in the afternoon. We're, you know, when that's after I take a drive every morning and night cruising the back road. Where the dog was seen, I filled up a dog sled full of urine and some crap, and another sled full of straw from his box and some food, and put that where he was seen in case he came back there. Well, I figured if I put the straw, maybe he'd curl up on it. So this is days after that. So now we're at Wednesday. It's around 1:30 in the afternoon, and phone rings, and it's a pound saying somebody just saw your dog at this spot here. We're actually quite close to the pound. So we hop in the truck right away and boogie down there. Back we see a person, because it's not that big a town, who we know lives at that address, coming out to meet me because I'd seen the truck go by. So she says he was in the yard about a half hour ago, but he took off in the woods. So she says, drive up here in their woodlot. So I drive up there and I park, and then I start calling and whistling like crazy. And then fresh snow had fallen and I could see his tracks. So I start following his tracks on their woodlot, and then I see where he doubled back. And so I double back, and we'd passed a fork in the road, but I've been calling the whole time, calling and whistling as loud as I can. And then I see him, he's coming up the road to find us. So my wife was walking towards me. I said, don't move, because I didn't want the dog to spook. And call the dog, and he came running over. And he was full of porcupine quills. In the feet, in the neck, in the face. And he was friggin' skinnier, and, you know, he was not a fat dog to start off with, but he lost a lot of weight. Well, 5 days. 5 days no eating, and how many kilometers did he do? So he was sure glad to see me. So grabbed him firmly by the collar and walked him to the truck, where he did like he always did. He hopped up to be put in the dog box. So the dog was safely back with us, but he's full of quills. So not the first time I deal with porcupine quills. I don't know how many times I've done it, but you know, more than 10 for sure, easily more than 10. So decision, you know, do we take the dog to the vet, or do we take him home and see what's what? Now, didn't have a big parley. I wanted to have a good look at the dog, and I wasn't doing that where we were then. So, you know, wanted to examine the dog to see how he was, if he had other injuries or whatever. So it was, well, let's take him home and have a look at him. And what I was afraid of, what my wife was afraid of, is that dog was burnt out, and we were afraid if we took him to the vet and she put him under, that he wouldn't wake up again. Because he was, once we had him, he was like pooped. He was just like, okay, yeah, it's okay here, I could relax. You know, the dog was, if you looked up relief in the dictionary, well, you had that dog's photo, okay, at that moment. So took him home, brought him in the house, first time that dog's ever in a house, and started at the feet and pulled the quills out of his feet, because he was rubbing his face all the time. And then worked on his neck, because they're the dangerous ones. I didn't want them going into the neck and into an important vein or a windpipe or something, you know. And then start at the mouth. And I figure he had a couple hundred quills in him. Some were a little hairy to get deep down. They were deep down his throat. They were, you know, you see them, but you had to put your fingers right in there. The dog was good as gold. What I've learned about quills is, first of all, you don't, you know this, oh, you cut the quills, or you do this, or you do that there. No, you don't. You just, if you cut the quills, when you pull on them, they become flat and they become very slippery. So it's not good. Pulling a quill, painful, no doubt about it. Okay, it's painful. So you have to move around. Okay, you just don't pull in one area. You know, you do one area, then stop a bit, and do another area, stop a bit. You do the nose last, because the nose is very sensitive. So, and the nose bleeds where other spots don't bleed as much. And also the pliers. I have a little pair of needle nose pliers that I bought just for that. And what's different about these pliers is, first of all, they're not too big. And the other thing is a spring that always opens them. So when you squeeze them shut, if you relax your grip, they open up again. And that's kind of important, because the quills always stick to the pliers because of the saliva. So if you don't have pliers like that, is you pull out some quills, but then you got to kind of get rid of the quills that are stuck into the pliers, and the pliers you have to unstick them. So you're always trying to unstick the pliers while holding the dog, while it's just one more thing. This way here, you just relax your grip and you just shake them a bit and you get the quills out. So yeah, there's lots of wet snow when you just felt a little dry, and I thought maybe he was dehydrated, and he would not drink at all. If you put anything in water, he just like took it out of the water. He was not interested in water at all, but he ate. Didn't want to eat too much. I didn't want him to vomit, so we kept him at, gave him like, quarter pound of bacon, then the other quarter pound of bacon, and then I gave him a chunk of meat afterwards. And then so 5 days and 7 hours later, Mr. Chester is back home. Hey bud. So I'm back in the yard. So what do I think happened? I think the wheel dog followed the lead dog as he was running around the yard, and either they swung wide and actually took off, or they chased something. So realize this video doesn't interest a lot of people because it's just blah blah blah, talk, but story of a lost dog. Thanks for listening. See all these things. A little spring there. Very good. And these are the quills. These are the last quills I've been pulling out. I mean, these are all invisible. So these are ones that have worked their way through his body.